Welcome back inside Dickies Arena for individual event number 2 for the 2024 CrossFit Games here in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm Chase Ingram. Alongside with me is Adrian Conway. We'll speak to Mike Arsenault in just a minute. Your standings after day number 1. Tell me if you've heard this one before. Tia Toomey stands on top of the leaderboard with 100 points. And a couple athletes in here in the top 10. We'll have some breaking news for you guys here in just a moment. And they're taking on Midline Climb, appropriately named now that we've seen 3 heats go.
That's right, it's a doozy. 50 deadlifts, 30 calories on the ski erg, 50 GHDs, another 50 GHDs, back to the ski erg for calories, and then 50 deadlifts to finish. So they're all separated, chased by 3 rope climbs.
And with all this, Adrian, what are your GoRuck steps to success?
You know, they're quite early, and we've seen them on exhibition all the way through to this final heat. It's pace early and then race late. You've got to come out with a controlled aggression and then finish with ferocity. And it's midline madness. All the trunk flexion really adds up on top of those heavy deadlifts.
Your lane assignments for the 4th and final heat for the individual women. Tia Claire Toomey is back in competition for the first time since 2022. 36 wins, 96 top 10s. What else you got to say about Tia Claire Toomey?
She's the GOAT, man, and she started with a first place finish, and this is her first time right back here on the primary competition floor in well over a year, and I can't wait.
And we talked about some breaking news on some athletes who are not competing here this heat. Let's go down to Mike Arsenault.
Thank you, Chase. Yes, only 8 women have taken the floor. Karen Freyova and our defending champion Laura Horvath have decided not to compete today. Now, ordinarily that means they would have to withdraw from the competition. This weekend, if they so choose, they can return to the competition if they feel up to it. But as mentioned, everyone is going to process what has happened differently. So as of right now, we are down to 38 women in the women's competition.
Thank you, Mike. And Adrian, we said this before, that we know the path forward. We know the path we're going to be on for the next 3 days, and that's to find the fittest woman on earth here in Fort Worth, Texas. But how people get there, decide to do with that path forward, everyone's going to walk their own.
That's right. We're all just kind of trying to figure this thing out together, man, and we're here together. I think that's what's most important. It's a place for people to come, to commune, to fellowship, to lift each other up, to cry, to be upset, and also find the joy that we can find right here by watching our favorite athletes and the fittest athletes in the world take the competition forward.
Tia Toomey in the lead pack in the red leader jersey once again. And Adrian, we've got to see Tia compete on this floor all the way back to 2015, 6 consecutive CrossFit Games champ starting in 2017. What's it like to see her back on the competition floor here at the CrossFit Games for the first time since 2022?
My gosh, man, it just excites me, to be honest. It's like the fan in me just gets so excited when I see Tia take the competition floor, because I know what she's bringing. It doesn't matter what the event is. It doesn't also matter who is out there with her. She is going to bring everything that she's got on every single event, and that's going to leave entertainment and inspiration for everybody in the room.
And Tia took last year off. Her and her husband Shane, they decided, they had a beautiful baby girl last year. That was about a few months before the games had started. She actually made her debut back in the competition last October at the Rogue Invitational. But as you said, to see her back here on the competition floor, it just feels right. And I'm excited to see what she brings to the table. She spoke earlier leading into this competition that this actually might be the most important CrossFit Games I have ever competed in. And it's because she is now a new mother taking the competition floor.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine the way that she feels to take the floor, the pride that she gets to glean knowing that she's got a daughter at home, a family at home watching her. I mean, the entire world, such a great fan of what Tia has done throughout the history of our sport, and now she gets to put it on display and also showing the potential of what she can do, returning from bringing such a beautiful child like Willow into the earth and raising her up.
And I talked about how Tia Toomey has 36 event wins in her career, but chasing her down in this event is Emma Tall, who, if there's rope climbs in an event, you look to Emma Tall. We saw that on display at the semifinal. She actually won the Alpaca Redo last year in 2023. And when you say rope climbs and long capacity, I'll take a swimmer and someone who can climb ropes any day in an event like this.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And Chase, she put me on notice this year at the semifinal level when she executed the way that she did to qualify for the CrossFit Games. When I saw the test come out and I noticed, like, wow, we know that she can do extremely well in an event with these movements coupled together. She's got to be someone that is going to be nipping at the heels of Tia throughout this whole test.
Going to flip side of the field. Let's welcome back Haley Adams to the CrossFit Games. Also took the year off last year to focus on herself, her mental health, and just to get her life right. She did that in the off season, and now she is back here on the competition floor. We talk grinder, we talk rope climbs again, something long with high volume work. Haley Adams is another name on that paper that could take the heat.
There's no doubt she's got the capacity and got the potential. Haley seems more complete, more happy coming into this season in general. Very excited just to be out here, less focused on the outcome and more focused on her opportunity to be here, be happy, be healthy, and get to execute at a high level.
Singing third overall after day one. Trying to keep pace, Tia Toomey has moved to the second set of rope climbs, 13 feet on these climbs. If you look on the right side, Zeus is indoors here at Dickies Arena. Those climbs will be 18 feet as Emma Tall, the bottom part of your screen, makes a very quick transition to the rope. And Adrian, we talked earlier, is that transitions here with an event like this, with the number of movements that we have, is that unseen movement that people can take advantage of here.
Yeah, it's almost like an extra movement within the test, right? Like every transition, if you add that up, it's going to add up to a significant amount of time. And here at Dickies Arena, we've got a large stage and a large floor to cover, and Tia understands the way to find the advantage in those small opportunities in almost every test, whether it's hiding the chalk in her pants, making sure that she's racing to the GHD. But as you can see, she's very familiar with this apparatus, Chase, and she is not slowing down at all.
Just getting to the GHD to her left is Emily Rolfe, who is sitting in third overall after the first event. As Rolfe is trying to keep pace with the top athletes in there. And Rolfe has just had an amazing career. This is her fifth appearance here at the CrossFit Games, 3 event wins. Usually all of those involve a run of some sort. Got a top 3 finish yesterday in the Lake Day.
Yeah, and she's one of those athletes that can take an advantage of these movement patterns that are present in this particular event. The hinging, the climbing, the trunk flexion, and the GHDs. Again, having a longer stature, she can cycle these pretty quickly compared to the field or shorter athletes in the field. And so I really see this playing out for an opportunity for Emily to nab a good amount of points here.
Now, second place yesterday in Lake Day was actually Bethany Flores, who's currently trying to keep pace with Tia Toomey just next to her. And as good as she had a day yesterday, just with Bethany's history, working on that back, managing some injuries, I think this might be, not to say damage control and put that on your bingo card for the weekend, but this is that for Bethany.
That's right, and we talked about that phrase yesterday a bit. The damage control is going to pop into each and every athlete's mind at some point here, and it could involve external loading. Hey, maybe this isn't the best kind of movement for me. Maybe it's a gymnastics movement. I'm not a great rope climber. But for Bethany, it's the limitation of her back and staying durable and healthy throughout her career that's really limited her. So we will see, and I love that you bring that up, because we'll see, especially on this back half, Chase, how she fares with the 50 coming back.
Tia Claire Toomey, 6-time CrossFit Games champion, looking for 7. Already back to the GHD.
Wow, 6:37.
And Adrian, you talked about that, and you look at Bethany Flores just to the right of Tia Toomey as far as cycle rate and speed. That's not fitness related, in my opinion. That to me is just like, hey, listen, let's get through this event so we can do the next one.
That's right. Yeah, there's caution. We talk about self-preservation through the course of a week when you're competing at the CrossFit Games. We expect there to be double digits in regards to tests. And we don't know the exact number, but we can only assume that athletes are going to have to take the floor for 10-plus events and give their all in a mixture of movements, so they have to consider how they'll feel in the following days.
Tia, still your leader is Danielle Brandon. Will get to the rope for the first time at the midway point of this. This is Brandon's 6th appearance here at the CrossFit Games. Her best finish was 4th in 2022, and she just absolutely burst onto the scenes in 2019 when it was second cut, walking on her, I say walking loosely, walking on her hands about faster than anybody had seen in a couple of years, and that's where she makes her hay in those handstand walk events so far at the CrossFit Games. But just a very fierce competitor, one of the more athletic athletes here in general at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. We know that Danielle has the ability. We know that she has the support system. We know that she even has the experience. The biggest question mark is, how does she feel? And will this week be an opportunity for her to put her full potential and capacity together to actually execute, to be in the pursuit of the podium at the end of the 4 days?
And usually for Danielle, it's been less about putting the physical things together, but getting those emotional and psychological things just all lined up in the right place, because when it's dialed in, it's dangerous.
Absolutely.
Tia Toomey off to the 50 GHD sit-ups already. As you look at the top part of your screen, Tia Toomey, 192 is the number she'll get before she moves back to the skier for 30 cows. Haley Adams in second has a rep lead on Emma Tall, so those are your top three in this heat. The time to beat as Tia approaches the skier right below the 9-minute mark was set by Maddie Sturt in heat number 1. And those loud cheers you hear in the crowd as Haley Adams moving to the rope. As Emma Tall to the right side of your screen is about 3 seconds behind her.
Haley had a bit of a snafu there on that last grapple with the rope. She missed her pinch and had to hold on for about 5 to 7 more seconds. Allowed Emma to catch up just a little bit more.
Haley Adams working on to her second rope climb. Moved herself into second, but Emma Tall looks like she is moving past Haley Adams as she is done and moving to the skier for 30 cows. Tia Claire Toomey has about 15 cows left to go as we are working into the back half of this long event 2 chipper.
That's right, they've done a lot of work already, and now we're towards the 3/4 mark here. These women that we're watching at the skier have 30 calories to accumulate. That means we need their monitor to say 60 before they can advance to final 3 rope climbs, and that's really where we see the fight and the grit of these athletes on the back half of 50 deadlifts at 155 pounds.
30 cows on the skier. First time check for Tia was a 152. As we are past the 10-minute mark, time to beat 13:43.21. That was set by Maddie Sturt in the previous heat.
Training partner of Tia's, I'm sure she would love nothing more than to track down her teammate and leave her in the dust just by a little bit.
222 is a number to hit for Tia Claire Toomey, and she's done. Moving to the rope for the last time, 3 climbs of 13 feet. A short rope never looked so tall.
And coming off the real tall rope climbs, Chase, there's nothing more appetizing in the same vein, right? Like after they hit that midway point with those few extra grapples and pulls, this is very welcomed here to finish. But we've seen several athletes already in the previous 3 heats reach almost local muscle failure in their grip at this point.
Final climb for Toomey. Chalking up before she gets to her final 50 deadlifts at 155 pounds. Will advance the bar 10 reps. Alone on the competition floor is a familiar sight we've seen throughout the career of Tia Claire Toomey, but never here at Fort Worth for the first time in Dickies Arena, as Haley Adams has moved ahead of Emma Tall on the skier. As Emma Tall's getting to the rope now, Tall made a move on the second to last set of 3. Let's see if she can make a move one more time to try to get the bar ahead of Haley, but Tia Toomey alone on an island. 20 reps down, 30 reps left to go. Top part of your screen, 275 reps is the number to hit. As Tia's just doing quick sets of what it looks like 5 reps at a time.
Wow. Her cycle speed is unmatched, and she makes that barbell almost jump off the ground.
Left top part of your screen, Emma Tall to the bar before Haley Adams.
Haley with a slightly faster cycle rate overall. If she can hold that clip, she's going to be able to bump ahead of Emma.
Time to beat 13:43. Tia Claire Toomey. 10 reps left to go. She'll advance her bar forward for one more time. Just under a minute to go. before we hit that time to beat. Tia Toomey, 5 reps at a time. Just past the 13-minute mark. Final 5 reps for Tia Claire Toomey. And for the 37th time in her career, she wins an event. Emma Tall trying to hold off Haley Adams. Actually, it's the other way around. Haley Adams has a 2-rep lead on Emma Tall.
Just a little faster out of the bottom and out of the top on each rep has really added up for Haley here.
Here comes Haley Adams. The time to beat was 42. Stern might have the second best time, but Haley Adams, who also sat out the 2022 CrossFit Games season, is looking to get second in this heat. And welcome back, Haley Adams. Emma Tall will finish just past the 14-minute mark. Bethany Flores on the right side of your screen. Emily Rolfe to the left, just behind her, over her right shoulder. You've got Grace Walton.
We've talked about this in some of the earlier heats, Chase, but this is where the pain is not as visible and obvious to us as we watch this chipper unfold, but it's just a steady burn and a steady cook where these athletes are fighting tooth and nail to keep the pace they've already established, and then here, as they have to chip away at 50 consecutive deadlifts, it's just like you're trapped at the bar and you want nothing more than somehow these reps get done without you pulling it up off the floor.
Emily Rolfe trying to hold off Bethany Flores. Past the 15-minute mark. As we get towards that 15-minute mark, Bonnie Gluck's time of 15:12 is looking darn good after being in the first heat.
Yeah, it's very impressive when you can see that, and then even more to add to that, specifically from a rookie, to come on and establish such a time that's going to hold its own here against the strongest field of competitors.
Bethany Flores, her final rep here. She'll get across the finish line right at the 15:33 mark. Jeff Gracie Walton won the Oceania region at the Torium Pro this year. Rookie here at the CrossFit Games, but a lot of hype and expectations have been around her since the start of the season.
Yeah, it had to be, and I think she proved a great reason why in Oceania at the semifinal. And now this is going to be an opportunity for her to really start to piece together and put on a resume, build a profile on what she can actually do on the world's biggest stage.
4 minutes till we hit that 20-minute time cap. Grace Walton will walk across the finish line. As we still have Daisy McDonald and Danielle Brandon on the floor. Daisy McDonald, another rookie coming out of the Oceania region for the women. The thing about Daisy McDonald's skill sets is their gymnastics background, being inverted upside down on her hands, and we saw what she did at the semifinals. And we don't know all the events here this weekend, but you got to think she might get one down the middle for her. But with that top 10 finish in event 1, fantastic finish for that rookie.
Oh, absolutely. And then when you talk about getting inverted, if they get an opportunity, well, we know who else is going to be chomping at the bit, and that's the woman right beside her, Danielle Brandon, there chipping away at her reps as well. And when you think about the breadth of this test, Chase, it's so very different than just a skills display. This is high-level work capacity, pain, mental fortitude, and a lot of self-discipline is going to be asked of you when you try to hold a pace the whole way through.
Even with the rope climbs, we know the capacity of these athletes with high-volume rope climbs. And this is just a big grinder to start things off. Midline climb. Yep. What a better name for an event that is the kickoff here. First event we're actually having in Dickies Arena for these individual athletes.
And what a better way to set the stage, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of fatigue and a lot of delayed onset muscle soreness is going to be chasing them down the rest of the 3 days, and it's all coming from midline climb right here to start the day.
All right, we saw what was on the docket next here. And talk about appropriate names. Firestorm coming up as the second event of the day in Dickens Arena. Almost the complete opposite side of the spectrum of what these athletes are experiencing right now.
That's right. When we think about intensity, it could be called Firestorm. It could be called kick in the teeth. It could be called many things, but we're all going to recognize it as CrossFitters when we see the stimulus that awaits them in the event that follows this one.
Danielle Brandon, a handful of reps left to go.
Final rep to go.
And she'll be able to easily walk across the finish line.
Number 4.
And that will do it for the individual women. As Tia Toomey gets her 37th event win.
Tia Toomey will take that event with a time of 13:15.
Your results for individual event number 2, Tia Claire Toomey. 2 Aussies on top the leaderboard. Maddie Sturt, it's her best finish ever.
Wow.
At the CrossFit Games, all that time off, and now she's back here. Haley Adams rounding out your top 3 for individual event 2. Down with Mike Arsenault. Let's see. Talk to Tia Toomey.